So hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Always a pleasure having you here. And if you're new to my channel, you're most welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly do not forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the other stories or the upcoming videos. Kindly feel free to leave a comment, like, and share this video if you find it good for other people to see. So without wasting time, we'll get on to what I promised you guys. Last time I told you about how we met, where we met, and when we met. And I also told you that I secured myself a job in one of the companies that I had always eyed. And so it was time for me to fly out of the country and get my visa back and come and start the process all over again. So let's start from home. I was at home waiting for my visa, and finally the company did send the visa and the ticket, and I flew back to the UAE. This time though, my company was in Dubai, which means that it was 1.5 hours to Abu Dhabi, where Fafashi stayed. It was actually it's usually 2 hours by bus, but sometimes other people take an hour depending on who's driving. Anyway, so I flew into Dubai, and I was ready to start my job. I was so excited about it, by the way. At that time I worked with Denata, which is a ground handling company for the airlines, and it was interesting because my job or my role was quite different from what I had done ever in my entire life. I didn't have experience in this job, but the good thing is that you always get trained anytime you join a new company. So you get you train, like for example for a week. I think I went through training for 1 whole week, and during this time also we communicated, saw each other. He came to see me all the time, and anytime I had my off days from the training, I would get into a bus and spend time with him. So of course now we had to decide, were we going to take this further? Were we going to what were we doing? It's not just a matter of waking up in the morning, I want to see somebody, I want to see this person. Okay, it's end of the day, we have had enough of each other, so yeah, see ya. I had made plenty of mistakes in the past. Like I had made very many mistakes of jumping in too early and not stating anything, just getting in there blindly and saying, let's see where this goes. And by the way, most of the people do that a lot of times, make that mistake of, let's see how this goes. So when are we going to review this? In 1 month, in 6 months, in 1 year, or when? So it's good to always sit down and agree and decide a way forward. So when I was settled with work and I knew, okay, now this is what I have to do, I'm good, I'm done with training, and I'm good to go, work-wise, that is. It was time for me to now sit down with this man who I had met and who I knew that I needed, and I wanted to see more and more and decide what it is we were doing. So I remember we went out, and by the way, I'm gonna just mention this. When you decide to do this kind of sitting, don't do it under the influence of whatever, alcohol. Don't be just be yourself, be sober, have proper rest, sit down and have a discussion about it. That's what we did. Because if you do it when you're on the dance floor, so what do you think, how do you think we're taking, where are we going to take things from here? No. So we sat down, I think we were having breakfast one morning, and I asked him a question. I said, So, what do you think about what we're having right now? Do you think we have anything that's gonna grow out of this, or tell me your thoughts about it. And he was outspoken. He said, I love what we have. It's a good thing, and I want us to continue seeing each other. That was a good thing. So I said, I feel the same way too, and I would like to continue seeing you, and I would also like to tell you that up front, because I know myself. I mean, I know I had told him before, but I also had to mention or remind him that I have kids. Very important. I had kids. I had told him initially, like when we met, but I had to remind him I have kids who depend on me, and I do everything I can to make sure that these kids are okay. And I said also, I'm not expecting you to do anything, for these kids. I'm okay with taking care of them until we decide further. But I just want you to know that sometimes my time will be diverted that way, or my mind, And he was okay. He told me his side of the story, and it was good. Like, we were on the same page. We began proper, So we decided, let's do this now. That done, dusted, that key, that cabinet closed, everything was set. So it was time for us now to get to know each other properly on other bases, like what does this person like? What does this person, enjoy doing? He found out that I loved singing. I loved going out for, to these places where you can sing, what they are called, karaoke bars. My cook of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from words, but I won't. So he would come with me, and at some point he would sing with his deep voice, which was a good thing, And so for that was like 2016, one whole year, it was exclusively spending time together. That meant, actually, that year I worked 4 days and I had 4 days off. Those 4 days we spent all together, unless he had to fly out of the country, we spend them together. Or unless I had to fly out of the country to go, back home, see the kids and stuff, we spend the time together, getting to know each other. In fact, I remember a friend of mine who approached us one time. We had gone out for dinner, and he came to our table and said, hey, hi Esther, nice to see you again. And he said, you guys are always together, which means he had seen us another time. He said, I always see you guys together. Every time I walk into a place and I look to him like, okay, I don't want to disturb their peace and everything. It was that kind of being together. In fact, I was joking about it to my friends, saying, if you're going to be inviting me for anything at your place, whatever, just know that I am not alone, just make it for two. If it's not possible, then that's okay. We will pass and we'll see you another time. So that's how much we became like attached to each other. Excuse me. And so the first almost 1 year, it's actually 1 year, because July to July, that was 1 year. We spent every moment of it that we could together. Of course, there was like, okay, that's new, There's always that weird part of a relationship where you have to actually get to get used to the new behaviors and whatever that comes with it, So end of 2016, December, that's when my children flew in, my mom as well. to come for December holidays or Christmas, spend Christmas with me. It was a whole month of family, time and everything. And that was the first time that I introduced my daughters and my mother to him. So this was like after knowing him for a long time and knowing like I can actually answer questions on his behalf. So he met my kids. They took it off really nice because I remember we spent a weekend away from the house. We spent in a hotel, so we went swimming together. They bonded in a good way, which was a relief for me because, of course, hello, kids, you have important people here. This one's on this side, this one's on this side, and it is important that they balance. It's important that they actually get to like each other. So anyway, they got along, and my family had to fly back home, and our life was easy. But then, beginning of 2017, we planned our first trip to go back home together, me and him, to go so that he could see where I come from, and he had to embrace that if he was ready to be with me. So March 2017, we flew to Nairobi. Of course, we stayed in a hotel, but that was like a few minutes not so far away from home. And again, I chose a time when the kids were off from school or they had their holidays. So we spent another family moment together with the kids. Yep, so the same year, 2017, July, we flew back home for my sister's wedding. And this time it was even better because after the wedding, we they bonded with the kids, and it was, we spent like, I think, 10 days in Kenya. We even had a chance to fly to Mombasa and spend some time together with the family. It was just an amazing time. It was just one of those I would do over again. Let's do that again just for old time's sake. Let's remind ourselves. So when we flew back, by this time, of course, the bond was greater. The bond was even stronger. So we decided at the end of 2017, which was November, that we were ready to move in together. Guys, I am that person who is, I always consider myself patient. Really, honestly, I consider myself a patient person, someone who can wait. But with the and that's when it comes down to getting to know someone better. Because Hafashi, when it comes to buying something or getting something, he weighs his options, literally. Like, he will check out this product, weigh the options, and end up, the end result is always good. But I am not that person. So we decided that it was time for me to stop commuting all the way and would find a house that was closer to my work, or in the middle, because when he drives from here to work, it's 1 hour, and I take approximately 50 minutes to get to work, when I use the train. But when we use the car, it's half an hour. So it's good for both of us. But now when it came to looking for the house, you guys, oh my God, I fell in love with the first house. Like, when we saw the first house, I was like, yeah, this is it. You know what? I'm done. Deal sealed. Let's get it. Then I saw the second one, and I was like, oh God, I love this one. It's even better. It's amazing. It's spacious. Let's get it. Then we saw, I think, 4 more. And by this time I was like, you know what? I do not know what we're looking for exactly here, because I thought we're looking for a house that we can fit in. And obviously the ones we've seen are nice, they're modern, but we still keep looking. Please enlighten me. And I remember he came to my place once. This was like during the searching time when we were still searching for the houses, and he said there's this one more house that he's seen and he wants us to go check it out. Guys, this time I was like, you know what? You just go check it out, finalize and let me know, because I am done looking for houses. I'm done. Every time I think that's it, we are settling for it, and it turns out we have to look. So he went by himself, and then he checked it out. He called me, told me this is amazing, you should see it. So I think 2 days later we came to we went to the place, and the moment I entered the front door, guys, this was a different setup. The moment I entered the front door, I was like, this is it. This is the one. I am, no, for real, this is the one. It's actually the house we are in right now. It had all the bedrooms upstairs. It's a spacious house. I think if you have seen the house tour video, it's one of the videos on my channel. So if you haven't seen it, then just go and have a look. It will give you an idea. So the moment the lady who was showing us around opened the door, I was like, oh my God, this is it. And so he was like, you like it? I said, yeah, I love it. I love it. I loved it even before I went upstairs, guys, because I knew this was going to be like enough for the kids when they visit, and enough room. It was just spacious. So we settled for this one, and we moved in. When we moved in, guys, considering how big this house is, when we brought the stuff I had, because his stuff were, he lived in a hotel apartment, which means it was fully furnished when he moved in there, so there was no furniture. So my furniture, when I brought it in here, it was like swallowed, literally. Like we were sitting on one corner the first 2 weeks before we got the stuff. But so we moved in together, and we moved in since 2017 November, and until now we're in the same house, and I love it. I love the kitchen. I love everything about this place. It's spacious. It's in a nice area and neighborhood and everything. It's close to the train station. That's actually one of the biggest plus for me, because I use the train to go to work. So it's easy for me to commute. I just take probably 4 minutes from the house to the train. So that was 2017 November when we moved to this place, and then December the kids came again to visit. They were so excited, you guys. They were excited to use the pool. They even wanted to use the gym, even though but yeah, they enjoyed the place as much as I did. They were like, oh my gosh, Mom, this is so cute. It's such a nice place. They could go for a walk. They could take walks to the park and everything. And they stayed here for 1 whole month. And then it was time to go back. And in this house, I think we also held a very huge housewarming party. A very huge housewarming party. Oh my God, you guys. All this because I had made friends, considering I had lived in the country longer than he had. So most of the people I introduced him to, and he made friends with them. He asked me, you know what, invite them over. Let's have a housewarming party. Let's have a party for everybody. So we had a really huge party over here. It was awesome. And let's just say that's not the party though. The party was just us having fun. But everything else, like us moving in together, him committing to drive 1 hour every day to work if he has to, although he doesn't work on all days, because we made sure that he had an office in one of the rooms that's not being used upstairs. And so this all comes down to commitment. Because if you commit to doing something and you mean it, because I know there are people who will just say for the sake of saying it. If you commit to doing something and you actually mean it, then you're down to whatever comes with it, because you put the other person's needs into consideration as well. Like, if I do this, how will the other person feel? So we sat down, and that also goes down to the first or initial agreement. When we spoke, we decided, let's do this, let's make it work. It's not a one-sided thing. Let's both make it work, because we feel good being together. We're happy when we are together. So let's make this last. Let's make it work. And so everything I do, or most of the things I do, I usually consider his reaction or how he'll feel about it. And I guess it does the same, because most of the times the things he does also work out for me. All right, so I'll end this here for today, but be sure to catch the next story next time, which is, of course, our journey together, because we're not done yet. We're not done yet. There's so many things I'd like to share with you guys. Plenty and plenty of stuff I'd like to share with you guys. So stay tuned, and in the next few days I'm going to be sharing with you the next part of our story together. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think as well. It's usually very important for me. Actually, those comments mean a lot to me. And also feel free to share the video, let others also enjoy, just like you have. Until next time, take care and goodbye.